Hello, Guru. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you for joining. Actually, I wanted to get some feedback from you regarding the process and stuff. If you could actually give some brief around why you started thinking about the investments, it would be helpful.
Sure. Thank you. Hi. As you know, I have my family. Look, I have two daughters and a beautiful wife. I'm new to invest, and not new, but it's been like 8 years since Australia. But I'm always been thinking to invest something in Australia so that we can get the regular income. The main idea is that I get after retirement, I want to get the regular income, not just from the pension that we get, but also want to, as a regular income without any inflation or anything. I don't want to depend on somebody else or even the government as such. I want to have the passive income to generate that. I was thinking to do that before, but I wasn't sure because we normally try to do investment based on what friends are saying, what we can hear, but we don't know if that's the right thing or not, and how we're going to maintain that. All those things were troubling us, and we're not very confident in the beginning. But the first investment we did, it was for ourselves, mean like the house that we live in. And because we're living in, we check everything and then we did it. But we were not really sure how to invest on, especially in Australia. And anything outside W, because in the W, at least I know I can go myself and see where things are at. But I was never going to think, I've ever thought that I will invest outside WA at all. Thanks for you that you came in and you showed me it's not just investing in one property, it's about building the portfolio. And I understood how things are from the beginning and how things going to work, whether why not to buy in WA market or why to buy in certain markets where it's warm markets or cold market. I had no idea about those concepts, and that's something that I learned from you. Really, thank you so much for doing that. And not just buying the property, you're also there holding us in terms of giving the property managers, or even any repairs that needs to be happen, inspections. The whole end-to-end process was seamless for us, and that's something that I don't want to worry about whether we did something wrong decision or the right decision. It's all good. That's something that I'm really looking forward. This is our first property, and I'm looking forward for the many more to go.
100%. It's actually why we suggest not to look at investing in your backyard is only because the market might have changed. People don't understand that. They'll be always thinking that, yes, the market has grown. Since you are in Perth, it has overgrown already. And if someone wants to buy there, definitely there are some suburbs that I always tell people that, yes, couple of suburbs are there still where you can still invest in those suburbs, but depends on your risk levels, your say income, and what is that you want to achieve. Depending on that, you should be able to think. When we started to have our conversation in the initial stage and the strategy session and everything, it was useful for you to understand those concepts in those initial conversations?
I think the concept is one thing, and also you had this calculations. That really gives us a idea, clear idea. This is where I put in there, and you're adding all the income and also the expenses, everything you've considered, the taxation and everything. That really clears everything, most of it, whether what is that extra thing I'm going to get, or what is that negative gearing that I'm going to get. There is no confusion in that. Anytime you can change that and automatically gives you that calculation for you. That's something that really helped me to think about now. I never thought about, because in Indian, especially Indian families, they have a concept of one house and that's it forever.
Yeah.
And there is no concept of you getting a loan and then getting a house. It's always been like there is no concept of the credit limit or the limit that you can use. It's they think it's just a loan, and that's the concept that I was in that concept.
We all been grown in the same sort of. We have been told that never have debts. That's the concept we have been in, and our parents did the same thing, right? My grandparents used to say that you never have loans in your life. That's where we come from, and it's quite common to hear that many people saying, "Oh, I don't want any more properties. It's just one property. I'm more satisfied." Yes, 100%, but how are you going to live your life after retirement? If someone is thinking about passive income, or you're living on the government benefits, or probably having your own retirement funds, that's the only thing, right? So medical expenses and all that, you can't even think of in Australia, especially. Having that sort of a passive income coming in, that stream of income helps you. Either you can still be able to support your kids and stuff, but at the same time, you're self-sufficient with what you want to do rather than thinking about where my income is going to come from when I'm retiring. That's the concept, right? And I hear about many friends saying that I want to actually aggressively invest in all that. How did you feel about? Because we did talk about a lot of things in the initial days. This is what you could do, and this is the first baby step that you're going to take. In another probably year or so, you should be able to build another property, and then that's what we discussed. How did you thought about it?
I never thought about that. As I said initially, I did not think about the concept was you buy a property, you finish clearing that property, and then you buy one more. When you said I'm going to buy 6 property, oh, that's how is that even possible? That's not gonna. But when you explained to me the concept of how things work, because we never thought about the property that actually invested is growing, it's not stagnant, and it also giving you an income to cover the particular expenses, and that's something that I was really understood what is my appetite. Can I, even if it goes wrong, can I have this appetite for that? In any business, in anything, you have to have a risk of that one. Without the risk, there's nothing that's going to happen. I think I know the risk is minimal, especially the land. You can never go bad no matter where in the world. That's something that, and that's why I'm not very like aggressively doing on any stock market or anything, unless you know how to do it. This is something
100%.
that's why I felt the land is something safe. Doesn't matter whether here or India, and I'm confident that it's gonna be good.
No, 100%. If you're looking at other investments, there are opportunities. I always suggest people, but only thing is they are more volatile, and you need to be very much educated in terms of going through the process and holding it for long term. Every investment, if you hold it for longer term, yes, it's going to benefit you. That's the basics of investment, right? Let's talk about a bit of a process in terms of identifying a suburb or the property itself. How did you feel about the process when we went through, yes, these are the suburbs that we felt like we should invest in, and this is a reason for investing. How was the process? And
when you showed us from the suburb perspective and say, because I haven't really did any research or anything on those things, but you gave us the data, which actually, because I'm working data, I know how important is the data and the point of where it is. You showed us what is the rent and income that you're going to get from the rental income property in that, and how big is the land, and specifically you're having properties that are mostly where the big lands, and it's going to always, the land is something that it will not, because always had a question of what happens to after 20 years my property value might come down because the building is old or whatever. But when I looked at your strategy of getting a bigger land with the house, it's always a win-win, because I know the land is now going to reduce the value, it will always increase. And from the process of you showing us the rating of each suburb and everything, that really gave me a confidence. This is actually good. This is something that I can believe the data, because she's not making up. And what I really liked about, you showed us around 3 different property, which we were saying it's fine, you can go and buy, but you came back to us again saying this is actually not right. And after the inspection, you canceled yourself. And after, I think the 3rd property is when we got this one, is the best we got, I feel. Even I can go and live there. It's so beautiful. Absolutely. And also, I feel that you have done the due diligence. You went to the 2nd property, also went to the council and found out something about the future
potential. We did go through that quite a bit.
And then you cancel those things. That's something that even I could have never done that. That's something that I'm really grateful that you did that.
No, in terms of the suburb itself, it's amazing to see the results. Now it has already gone over 35%. From the past, I'm talking about like 2 years. Yes, it's growing pretty well. And I did suggest, because I've been sending so many messages, because this is the year end. So every 6 months to 1 year, we do evaluate the properties, right? I've sent almost 18 messages saying that your property has gone up this much, gone up this much. So I was like, oh my God, this is so huge. It's around, how much was it? When we actually, it's on a higher side, it's sitting at 700K. We bought it for 655, 45K within like 4 months. It's a great one. And we are expecting to see some good growth next year as well. The projections looks good. When we actually spoke about Bendigo for the first impression, were you okay with it, or you're like,
No, because Bendigo is regional. I was thinking, why she even for me to even go see. I went to recently to Melbourne, and then my wife was saying, "Can you go to our property and see?" I said, "Like, do you know how far it is from Melbourne?" She was like,
yeah,
"Oh, why did you buy there?" It's something that I know Bendigo from the Bendigo Bank, where the Bendigo is, but I know it's a regional one. So that's I was a little skeptical of whether should I go or should we go with the city like a Melbourne, something like that. But I know from your research and that the data that you showed, because I know here even when we go to Margaret River or Bunbury and where even though they call it regional, it's not really true regional. Where
yeah,
they are the ones that they grow, and when you buy a property there, it's much more higher than city. I trust the data. That doesn't matter. I know that you may get a good, you might feel that the property might be good value in the city, but it's not about your gut feeling, it's about your data, and that's all what I always believe. It doesn't matter where it is, if it has a good potential, and you also look at the rental, how long it's been empty and things like that. Those are the ones that gives us confidence. Fine.
yeah.
Okay.
No, the vacancy rates have gone pretty low now in the region where you have bought. Earlier it was around 1.2, right? Now they have gone down to 0.77. The demand has picked up quite significantly, which actually signs for us to buy more properties in that. And we have been trying to find, well, I actually saw 3 properties in the past 4 months because we were buying for the different clients in the same region and we couldn't get it. All owner occupiers, they want those 4 bedroom to, and now they are fighting for it. It's gone up from 670 to 680, just a single 400 square meter block and a 4 bedroom house. So
Okay.
we lost on that. We can't do anything because we have that's the reason the market keeps moving. That's something people don't understand. Although data suggests that it's still a warm market, but it's very close to hot market at this stage.
Yeah.
And if you're not being on ground and are doing the research and also playing around a bit with the agents and stuff, you won't be able to identify whether it's a hot market or not. In data, yes, it is still transitioning, but on the ground, it has already changed. All right. When you said you had no idea that where I could actually buy, you don't need to, you wanted to look at different areas, but you were going back to Perth all the time. How was the confidence level when you actually engaged me? At the end, like you suggested, that we do support everyone, but how was your confidence level at that point?
I think initially because I knew the reason why it's confidence was a little bit I think you remember that even though you were doing so because I wasn't sure whether you how would you do it or you want to have that confidence in the beginning, but you did a great job. I decided you yourself canceled 2 of the properties that you suggested us because it wasn't going through, and that's when I know that you are working for the wellness for us. So it doesn't matter whichever property you would have still sold us, and then we never seen that would have been the case, but you want to really build that trust in us and understand, get the right property for us. That's the reason I had the confidence. The later confidence I got was something that I could trust.
100%. No, yes, there is an opportunity all the time when we look at the property and the data and stuff, but unless we go and look at the property, we won't get to know certain things. We do that quite a bit. We do inspections and going there, understanding what's happening and talking to those agents who give us a clear picture. That happens quite a bit, to be honest, because some of the stumps might not be right. The property looks good. They would have renovated and everything. Unless you walk on the floor, you won't get to know whether that there is issue with the stump. That's just a small example I'm giving, but there could be a lot of issues within the house itself. This will be picked up in the building and pest, but you would have paid for the building and pest, right? We don't want you to spend more money on it, but we just want to eliminate as much as the negativity that we have in those properties. What would you say someone who is in the same position you were in, I'm sure busy with work and all those stuff, what would you say?
I would suggest that go through with you. If they say, I think they need to first be clear what is their agenda and what is their goals, what they want to achieve, and based on that, if that's the goal, investing doesn't matter where it is, it's safer, and it's when you're able to give support, and that's all you require. So that's all you need. You don't need to invest in the backyard, you don't need to invest next, because it doesn't matter. Even if I'm buying in WI, I won't be able to travel every single day to that particular place, and even as owner, I can't go barge into anybody's house and see. It's something that it doesn't, it's just that psychologically we are feeling that safe because it's in front of your eyes. But it doesn't happen where you invest somewhere else and somebody posts on it. That doesn't happen. That's why I think I would say that keep an open mind, and since this is what the property, I'm sure you'll do a good job on, definitely on getting the right property for them. And I would say initially trust you, and invest on something. And house are always like, it's never gonna come down. Even you might have a hiccup in the beginning, but it's gonna cover over the long run.